Hi, good morning. All right. So, if you are looking to move abroad or take a sabbatical and you're looking for a way to make some extra dough, you may have considered putting your home on Airbnb. You probably have questions and you probably have um, some pros and some cons running around in your head. We're going to answer them today as best we can. We're going to talk about renting out your home on Airbnb, who it's good for, who it won't work for, and really, like, seriously, how much money can you expect to make on Airbnb in 2021? So, welcome. I'm not by myself today. We have Adrian because I can't answer any questions about this. So we have Adrian here to answer these questions. Welcome, Adrian. All right. So if you're new here, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Stephanie Perry. I am a house sitter. I'm the creator of House Sitter School, and I help Black women take a sabbatical or move abroad on a budget. If that sounds interesting to you, make sure that you subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so that you will be notified when I post a new video. Welcome. All right. So Adrian, hi. Do you want to tell us where you are in the world?
Hi, Stephanie. I am in Chicago, in the U.S.
And
currently.
so And Adrian is an Airbnb host who just bought a second property to use as an Airbnb property. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you still a flight attendant as well?
I am still flight attending. I
Okay.
I haven't worked. I've been working like once a month lately, but I'm going to start working more coming up soon.
All right. So good. All right. So we're going to talk about this because um, I think that it's something that could possibly work for some of us. We're going to talk about also the differences between being an Airbnb host and just renting out your property, like long-term, short-term rental, right, is what it is. Short-term rental versus long-term rental. Why Adrian made this move and how you can know if this is a good idea for you. All right. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, Allison. Good morning, Mom. Good morning, Professor LCH. She says, Professor LCH, this isn't my topic, but I'm here. Okay, thank you. We're glad you're here. Good morning, Terry Lynn. Good morning, Pearl Pugh. Yes, so we're homeowners associations. We're going to talk a little bit about stuff like that. Homeowners associations, what are they called? City councils. A lot of people have say in what you can and can't do. So we're going to dip
Sure.
into it a little bit today. All right. So good morning, everybody. I'm glad to see you all here on a nice summer Saturday. Okay. All right. So Adrian, can you tell us first, how long have you been an
Um,
Airbnb host or Airbnb host? Yeah.
um, so I started Airbnb it last July, so July 2020, like
Okay.
July 15th. I wasn't quite ready, but I already had someone who wanted to use my Airbnb, and so I already had my first guest, so I just made it available.
Okay.
So it's been almost a year.
During the pandemic.
Yes, during the
Was
pandemic.
okay. Did the person okay. So so did you okay, so this was a person who contacted you off of Airbnb. And
Yeah, in person I met them. So the house next to my house was also an Airbnb,
Mhm,
and the people were staying there.
mhm.
And I had a barbecue at my house, and they
Uh-huh.
came over, and I told them I was fixing it up to make it an Airbnb, and they said, "Can it be ready July 12th? Because we would like to stay here for a month."
Ah. Oh, wow, that's a great way to get into it. Okay.
I know.
So what did you have to do to get it ready to put on Airbnb?
Um, Basically, I just had to get everything out of there because I had been working on it. I wasn't working, and I used that time during the pandemic to like be, fix up the house. Like I had to put a new roof on it and all this kind of stuff. So it was more a matter of like getting everything out so they could have the space.
Okay.
Um, but it basically just lit a fire under my ass to, get
Uh-huh.
stuff done that I should have been getting done anyway.
Okay. And did you have, so I don't know if we want to talk about this early. So did you, because your neighbor was already hosting on Airbnb, did you already know that your neighborhood and your area allowed that, or did you have to do some research to see if that was going to be okay?
Um, I didn't do any research.
Okay.
it's my Airbnb happens to be like, which I think is the best bet for people. It's in an unincorporated area, so it's not technically part of a town. So there are zero restrictions for anything. If I
Oh,
wanted to put a giant statue of myself in front of my house, nobody can say anything.
okay. That's good to know. Okay. So is it, but it's in Chicago?
No, it's about 3.5 hours from Chicago. It's in a
Oh,
tiny little town, because Chicago's super strict,
yeah.
super strict,
Yeah.
and they take too many of your fees, and it. I had thought about it in Chicago, but there's too many local restrictions.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Okay. And is it a single, you said that these people were your neighbors, but this is a single family home.
It is
Okay. How many bedrooms?
two,
Two.
and
And
it's tiny, and it's in the middle of nowhere.
so why were these people so excited about the area?
I don't. It's hard to say. When I first started, I asked people like, "What drew you to this?"
Uh-huh.
Because most of the people do come from Chicago, so
Uh,
it's like a getaway for them. And I think during the pandemic, it was good because people wanted like a social distancing environment. So this is a small town. The house is on a lake, so they could go and have all their summer vacation fun without worrying about being around people.
oh, okay. You're selling it short. Okay. So it's a lake, it's a house on a lake, three
Yes,
and a
it
half
is
hours
short.
from Chicago.
Yes,
Okay. All right, Adrian. Okay. I'm with you now. You're like, it's in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, nobody goes to nowhere. I know.
it's the middle of nowhere, but it is on a nice lake.
Okay, good. Okay, so perfect timing. So when a lot of people were pulling out of the Airbnb market because of the pandemic, you jumped all in.
Yes.
Okay, great. So that was July. We're talking 10 months now. How rented has it been? What is the term? I looked this up and I asked you and I can't remember.
Occupancy rate.
Thank you. What's your occupancy rate?
For when I have it available, I would say my occupancy rate is about 92%.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much always booked.
Always booked. Wonderful. And it's covering your Airbnb fees or whatever, your Airbnb money, your income is covering the cost of the place.
Yes. So this particular house, I will disclaimer, it was super cheap. I bought it from the owner and I paid cash for it.
Ah,
So I don't have a mortgage. So any money coming in really is just my money.
great. Okay. All right. That is ideal. Okay.
But my new house is not like that.
Okay. Okay. But the first house that you have on Airbnb, you own it outright.
Yes.
So what you make is what you keep.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. All right. So if you had a regular sized, well, if, even if you had a mortgage because the house was cheap, you would still be making money on it, probably.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, so we have our first super chat. Larissa, thanks so much for the super chat. So all month long, I'm bringing a guest onto the channel, and all month long, the super chat goes to the guest. So that's for you, Adrian. That's for you. You can't see it. Adrian can't see the screen because she's not watching YouTube, but she'll see it later. Okay, so that there's a little extra money to thank you for helping with the with answering people's questions about Airbnb. All right. So you didn't have to deal with city regulations, but can we talk for a quick second about Chicago's rules? Because I did a little bit of research on Chicago and Atlanta because I think a lot of you guys here who might be interested might be in those areas.
Yeah.
And what I saw was that they are requiring you to pay a hotel tax, basically, which is why if you recently tried to book an Airbnb, you'll see that there's an extra fee added on. If you're an Airbnb host, you need to pay a tax as if you're a hotel host. And I think both places now no longer let you rent overnight, one night, right?
You have
Each
to do
stay
more.
has to be at least 2 nights or longer. Do you think that sounds right?
I It sounds right. And here, and at least in Chicago, you have to um, apply to register your property, and then you have to wait for them to give you like this number that then you put on your Airbnb listing to show people that you are registered, and it's a lot of red tape.
Yes, in your business. Yes, they will be in your business. This
Yes.
is not this is not some sort of under the table operation. Yeah, they're going to
No.
be in your business. Yeah, so that's what I found out in my research. I think for both Chicago and Atlanta, they looked very similar. You cannot do one single overnight stays, and you have to register. And I think Chicago, I don't know about Atlanta. I think Chicago, you're paying like a hotel tax or hotel a fee as if you're a hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They take a lot.
yeah. Yes, that's what it looks like. And
So it's
so,
better to just go slightly outside of the limits of
yeah,
Chicago.
okay, get get out of town. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're saying that if there's no one, so I'm saying we're saying that rules could change, but there's no one making rules for your particular area. So
No.
that's good. All right,
Mhm.
that's wonderful. What had you originally intended to do with the property when you bought it in the first place?
I wanted to Airbnb it. I stayed at this beautiful property in Croatia, and ever since then, like literally in the middle of the night while I was staying there, I started looking at properties in Chicago to buy just to Airbnb
Okay.
because I loved the concept, because I like decorating. So I was like, oh my God, I could own a place, decorate a place, and then just make money off of it.
Uh-huh.
And this place came up unexpectedly. Just driving down the street, it said for sale by owner. And I was like, okay, let's find out how much this is.
Okay.
So I found out, and I didn't think much of it. And then like 1 week later, I was staying at an Airbnb in Spain, and I was admiring how wonderful it was. And I put an offer on the house. I'd never seen the inside of the house. I just put in the offer.
Wow. Who knew that that kind of stuff still existed, right? Because
I,
real estate has been booming for a while, or I think has been booming for a while. So who knew that you could still get a good deal?
yeah, it was crazy.
That is
I
crazy.
crazy.
And you bought it by yourself? You're the only owner?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah, yeah,
and what about the renovations? Who's doing them?
I did them also myself. You know, this is like the world provides a way, right? I bought it late 2019, and I was like working full time and then spending my weekends down there fixing it up. And then the pandemic happened, and I suddenly had 5 months off work. So I just went down there and just started knocking it all out. And I was like, when would I ever have had this kind of time to actually fix it up?
Right.
So I was like, you know, like that's the thing. You jump in with to fix it up.
Now, you talked about putting a new roof on it and doing some major stuff. Was how much time from the time that, well, I guess that was, some of this was pre-pandemic though, but how much time from the time that these people said, hey, we'd like to rent your place until you had it ready?
I would say they asked me in June, and I had it ready for them like maybe 2 weeks later.
Ah, okay.
I mean, the roof was an unexpected thing. Like I was staying the night there, and I woke up like, what's that noise? And I walked out to the living room, and it was literally raining into the living room. I didn't know I was going to have to replace the roof.
Let me tell you, this is why if you ever catch me talking about I bought a house, please take me to the doctor first. Take me to somebody. Take me. I appreciate that this is a wonderful move for lots of people, including you.
No,
But a child for
I
me.
cried for a good hour.
All right, but you got the roof fixed. All right.
Oh yeah,
And
that's the good thing about a small town is I just found some man randomly, and he was like, oh, I used to do roofs, and I paid him $20 an hour to help me put the roof on.
to help you put the roof on. So you were up
Yeah.
on the roof. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I took off the old roof, saved money, and then we put the new roof on together.
Okay. So you've been super hands-on with this.
Yes.
How hands-on have you been with the actual rental process? With getting someone in, doing the turnover, cleaning after them, getting the next people in. Since you're 92% booked, there's a lot of turnover.
Yes. I don't do any of the cleaning. the stepmother of the person who helped me with the roof
Uh-huh.
actually volunteered to help clean. This is a small town, right? So she did the cleaning. I just showed her what to do. And I respond to all emails
Okay.
and requests or any problems, but I don't do any of the actual hands-on stuff.
Okay. Okay. So this is why we want to talk about this particular thing, because Airbnb-ing your home out can be surprisingly hands-off for people who are on a sabbatical. So if I'm a woman, I'm taking a sabbatical, I have a home, I want to do some short-term rentals while I'm gone. It can work because there are people who will come in and do these things for you, right? Who will do the
Yes.
cleaning for you. There are even people who will handle the booking for you if you want to pay somebody to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm about to start paying someone to do that because now that I'm going back to flying, like you're out of reach so long that I don't want to be the kind of host that if someone has a problem, it's 5 hours before I respond.
That's right.
So I'm going to start paying someone to just take over that part.
Great. All right. Because Adrian's an air, I was going to say an air flight attendant. Well, I already did say air flight attendant, so too late. A flight attendant. Yeah. Yes, that's right. As an Airbnb guest, it annoys me when I have to wait and wait for a reply from a host. Even though I know that these are regular people with like regular lives and stuff, I'm like, reply to my question, please.
Yeah. And
It's-
I get them in the middle of the night. On Christmas Day, my pipes froze, and at 2 a.m, I'm getting like messages and stuff, and like you have to be available for that.
That's right. That's right. You or someone you're paying. Yeah, you or someone you trust. Yeah.
Preferably someone I'm paying.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's one of the costs that's going to go in. One of the costs of doing business. Hi, Ludell. Ludell says she's new today. Just got here. Adrian is in Chicago. Her Airbnb that she's renting out is 3.5 hours outside of Chicago on a lake. She's been 92%. Her occupancy rate has been 92%. So 92% of the available days that she's put it on Airbnb have been booked since July of 2020. And she owns the home outright. So it's all her money. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. So let's see. So we have discussed how you got the home. We have discussed how that you renovated the home. You did the stuff yourself. Besides the roof, the other stuff was cosmetic. Is that right? The roof was the thing. Or do you feel like
there was a lot of stuff initially? So initially I knew some things, like a tree had fallen on the house years ago and had been raining into the house for years. So I knew some stuff, like cutting out floors, replacing the windows. You learn to be very handy, Stephanie, when
but how did you learn?
YouTube is amazing.
Okay.
And the place I live in, Chicago, I had already fixed up. So some stuff I already had an idea. Like I can do basic plumbing or basic, I don't know, carpenter work. But, it's all a learning process, I guess. It's better to pay somebody.
Yeah.
But I had more time than money.
That's right. Yeah, you need one or the other in any business, right? You need at least one or the other. Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about the renovation. We've talked about so let's talk about the actual work of putting it on Airbnb. Okay.
Easy.
Did you take the photos? Did you get a professional photographer?
Nope. I took the photos with my iPhone. And I had to hurry up and do it because those people wanted to rent it. And I was like, well, it's not even on Airbnb. So I took the pictures. I had my sister help me with a write-up because she's an excellent writer. Okay. And before I could even get the people to book it, I already had other people booking it. Like within 2 minutes of it going up, people were already booking it.
This is perfect timing. So you really just took advantage of the situation, right?
Yes.
I can't get over the fact that you own a lake house 3.5 hours outside of Chicago during a pandemic. Like we can all see how that would be a profitable situation.
Yeah.
Did you hesitate to do it? Because this was originally part of your plan, I'm going to assume that you didn't hesitate to do it.
I mean, I stressed about it a lot, but I don't know. I didn't hesitate. I think because the house next door when I bought the house or put the offer in for the house, I didn't know the house next door was Airbnb. But when I found out, I felt a lot more comfortable because I was like, so people will book it. Like, there's already an Airbnb next door. Because this town is so tiny that, you know, like, obviously you have a little bit of uncertainty, like starting something new. But I was definitely surprised about how, I mean, that little ping from Airbnb was going off constantly. I was like, how are people finding this place? But yeah, I mean, enough that I bought another house.
Yeah. So where's this other house? How far is it? Close?
It's like a mile down the road.
Wow. So now you own 2 lake houses outside of Chicago. All right. And how much effort is this one going to take to be ready?
The windows need replaced, but other than that, it's fine. I love this new house. It's smaller, and it's got an open. I just love it. I think it's going to do really well. If I can get the windows replaced.
Okay. Good. So now these houses are in a location where long-term rental would not necessarily make sense.
It would not be as profitable.
Have you thought about being that kind of landlord and having that kind of situation?
So I have a goal to move out of the country by 2025. And I think by then I either will do long-term rentals for the properties or I will sell them.
Okay.
But I don't know that I would keep doing Airbnb. I'm just hoping to get as much money as I can from the Airbnb over the next 4 years.
Okay. And why? So why? I'm kind of surprised by that.
That I wouldn't keep doing it?
Yeah.
It is a bit more of a stressor than I would want if I was out of the country. Like, even if you relegate to other people, like, it's still mine, and it's still there's still a pressure about it that I don't think I would want.
Right. We talk about that a lot. The point of going abroad is for rest and relaxation. We want to be able to enjoy our lives in 360 degrees, and we don't want to have nagging stresses. When people talk about, should I pay off my credit card debt before I go? I'm like, yes, because you just don't want to feel that feeling in your new life, right? As a person, I understand that you as a homeowner not wanting to carry home ownership and rental property, short-term property rental.
Yeah, the short term, there's just so, like, it's too many, like, every week there can be problems. Like, at least with a long-term rental, like, it might happen a few times a year that someone has something, but I don't want to hear about it weekly.
No, that's right. I get it. I totally get that. Okay, good. So I'm glad that we're talking about this, because before coming into this, I would have guessed that you were going to be like, oh no, I'm going to keep it this way.
I mean, it's a big money maker, but talk to me in 4 years, Stephanie. Maybe by then I'll be so used to the money that I'll be like, no way I'm giving this up.
I need to give me all the money. So what kind of money difference are we talking? What percentage do you think you're making more by renting through Airbnb short term as opposed to having an annual, like a 1 year renter in your place?
So I would say, given the place that I rent, for a 2-bedroom home in that area, I probably couldn't get more than like $850 a month.
Okay.
And right now, on average, I would say it brings in $3,000 a month. So it's a considerable difference.
Almost 3x. Almost 3 times what you would get from renting. Okay. That is a significant difference. Okay. All right. So your neighbors, were they renting pre-pandemic also?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is this new, this occupancy rate? Is this new, or have they?
No, they said they were always busy too.
Wow. I'm just shocked that just recently you
Me
found a
too.
house on a lake that was available and on a low price. Like I would have thought that like everything in the whole country was already bought up.
Stephanie, I paid $32,000 for this house, and I'm positive I could get 4 times that price for it. But the thing is, it's like a dying town,
Yeah.
and the people that lived on this lake were all like the rich people in town,
Yes.
but they were all like 90, so they're dying and they're leaving it to like people who don't want it because they've already moved on. So this house
Mm.
had been vacant for like 10 years.
Wow.
So it was just the kids of the people that owned it were 70, and
Okay.
they just wanted to get rid of it.
Okay, so this is a great point. So my dad recently sold his father's house, right? So I do kind of understand that, right? You've been left a house. You're already a senior citizen, right? You've got your own
Yeah,
place. You got your own stuff.
yeah,
You're
you
not
just
worried
want to
about
be
this
like, yeah,
house. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And that's how all the houses. 3 people that have stayed at my Airbnb have now bought houses on this lake.
Y'all gonna revive that town.
Uh-huh. And we're gonna make it colored because I was the first Black person, and all the people that bought were also people of color.
Go girl. Yes, yes. Okay, after we finish this, I'm gonna ask you where this town is. I'm gonna need to go visit the new what was the new Inkwell, right? The Inkwell. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna need to go for a visit. Okay, so this is great. Okay, because somebody was just like, "How do you find this house?" Okay, so this is right. There are people out there who are owners of property and don't want to be. I watched so in my research, I watched a video by a woman named Noelle Randall who talks about that. There are people who are homeowners and don't want to be homeowners. She says that you can even rent from them and then put a house on Airbnb if they don't want to sell it yet. You know. So, okay. And that she calls it rental arbitrage or something like that. So, rental arbitrage. Okay. Okay. So this is awesome. This is super helpful. Okay. So if you don't know, if you're just getting here, super chat for this week is going to Adrian because we appreciate her for coming in and filling this information for us. Okay. Yes. So there are people out there, as we were saying, there are people out there who own property and don't want to, either don't want to put the time and effort into fixing it up themselves and being the Airbnb host, or, maybe they have, there are a lot of owners involved and they're like, oh, this is not going to be worth any effort for me. And that might be a good place to start if you're looking to buy something or rent something from someone. Yes, Monique, she said $32,000. That's crazy. $32,000 plus repair work for a property that's
Yeah.
already bringing you $3,000 per month. Okay. All right. So as my mind is already churning and I'd have zero interest in being a homeowner. So all right. Yes. Where's the new Inkwell? Yeah, I think maybe Simona, we're gonna need to find out where this is, but offline. So Adrian's Instagram, let's do this now. Adrian's Instagram is A_Danielle_W. Copy. Okay. So I'm gonna link to her Instagram here. You can, yeah, you can follow her on Instagram if you want to follow along. This is how I knew that she got a second property. So if you want to follow her along on her Airbnb host journey / returning to work as a flight attendant because you're returning to. So what's going on with that? Are you returning to work soon?
Yeah, I actually returned to work in April, but then my first trip in April, I flew with someone who later tested positive for COVID, so I got pulled off the rest of my trips for April. And then I already had vacation in May, so June will be my first time like back in it since last March.
Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. So you're rested, right? No, you're not rested because you've been putting roofs on houses.
I know, but I was like, turns out I don't know if I want to work.
Right. Exactly. Options, honey. Yes. Options. All right. So Abba and Simona have both given you a super chat. Thank you very much. Yeah. Abba says congratulations to you. And Simona says her mind is working, right? Her mind is churning right now about what are the possibilities for me. Yeah. So we we see, as a person who stays in Airbnbs all over the world, I see a lot of places, and I'm like, this Airbnb is awesome, and whoever owns this is a genius. But it's never really occurred to me that, oh, this is something that regular people can do. Right. So how did you, what are the things that you did to make these people see your listing and boom, apply, like, pay right away? What is going on in your lake house that is so amazing that people want to stay there 92% of the time?
So, I mean, especially so the Airbnb next door has new owners who I love, and they've redone it so it's different. But in comparison to my neighbor before, my house is, like I travel a lot. I stay in Airbnbs, so I think I offered a better aesthetic.
Mhm.
Like they just had a place to stay, which you find a lot with lake houses. Like I tried for so long to find a lake house in Michigan, and everything is decorated like I also want to go out and kill deer in my free time. Like it's all so cliched that I just was like, I just want it to be nice.
Mhm.
Like, so I think it's nicer. It also has a private sandy beach. I do provide kayaks, and I have a paddle board, and I have lots of like lake activities, and I have a gorgeous little sunroom that sits right over the water that's on stilts over the beach. So I think it's a nice setup.
Good. So my parents and I are heading to Myrtle Beach, and then we were looking for some place to go after Myrtle Beach, and we started looking around, and we couldn't find any place in Savannah. No Airbnbs in Savannah, like none. And so I was like, well, why don't we go up to Seaverville, Tennessee anyway? Because I saw an Airbnb that is a cabin in the mountains with a huge mural of Dolly Parton inside. Right? Like seriously, I'm willing to go stay in this place because it's really like modern cabin look, right? We're not talking
Yeah,
about a cabin that, from the
yeah.
1940s.
I don't
Like,
need a dead deer on the wall. Like, I does not.
no, but the aesthetic is very important when you're talking about short-term rentals, right? These are people who are coming there to take pictures for Instagram.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say the style design theme is, or like the style for your space?
Oh, I don't know. I don't really. You know what? I'll be honest. The style of it is nothing like my own personal style. Like
Mhm.
my own personal house here in Chicago is all black and gray and white and wood. This is like bright and colorful and cheery, and it's like a happy getaway. Like
Yes.
the walls are all white, and it's cheerful.
Some are fun.
Yeah,
Okay,
for
good.
sure. I've got a hammock and a fire pit and all that kind of stuff, and I think when I go, I don't ever go and stay, but we had my sister's 50th birthday there last year. My whole family came, and they had such a good time. And I was like, this is what other people experience, right? Like, this
Mhm.
must be it. Like, everyone stayed on the water, and we had grill outs and all that kind of stuff. And I got to see what other people were experiencing.
Yes. Good. Good. Yeah, I'm glad that you did that for yourself. I hope that you block in some more time. So you talked about like we didn't really talk about your calendar, but you said 92% of the days it's available. But I hope you take some days off of that Airbnb calendar for yourself to enjoy it.
I usually just use that time to like fix little things that might need fixed.
Yeah.
That's also the good thing about short term versus long term is I have a friend that has a long term rental, and she said that when she went into the place after a year of rental, she cried. It was in such bad shape.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't happen with Airbnb because you're constantly having access to it. So if something is wrong, right away.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah, you don't yeah, most long-term rentals, I don't think they come in midway through and do an inspection, right? They just when the person leaves, surprise, they've ripped
Yeah.
out all the paneling.
Like this is like someone broke my refrigerator, but I knew right away. Or the last people that stayed lost one of my kayak oars, but they left money and a note right away. Like things don't get lost. It just right away if something's wrong or missing or.
Good. All right. So would you consider any of your guests having been nightmare guests? Any
No,
great.
no. I'm like Instagram friends with a lot of them. Some of them send me Christmas cards. Like it literally is. I just love it. No nightmare guest whatsoever.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I have one Airbnb host that I still like. We're still friends. Just one so far. Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice thing. Yeah.
It is. And I don't meet most of them. Like I had one guy that I turned down because I did not like his request because it sounded kind of sketchy. But so then I explained to him why I was turning him down. And instead he like sent me this really long message. So then I felt bad. So I actually did meet him. I went over, I brought him a bottle of wine. I explained the whole thing to him. And I mean, that was kind of nice. I normally don't meet the people because I'm not down there, but I happened to be down there at my new house. So I went over and apologized, I guess.
Okay, so he stayed and he wasn't
He
that was
was,
as
and
much
he brought his
trouble as
girlfriend. It was just that his thing was like, oh, I can't wait to meet you. Or I can't wait to see you, or something like that. And I was like, no.
you have to be careful. So is your listing your face? Like is you're listed as the host of the Airbnb?
Yes.
Looking like that. Yeah, you have to be careful. Okay, so why did you choose to do that and not list under a corporate name or, a company name?
I think it all happened so fast as far as actually getting it listed that I didn't really think about it. Now, I think once I get this other property up, I might do an LLC just for liability. But when I first started hosting, I had a boyfriend and he was my co-host. But now that I don't have my boyfriend and it's just me, I don't know how I feel about it just being me.
Yeah, I would be careful with that because you're super cute. You're beautiful and cute, right? So I don't know. But then again, with Airbnb, so the people who are staying have reviews also, right? These are not
Right.
just people walking
And for
off
the
the
most part,
page.
I don't meet them. So
True. That's correct. Right, because it's not a room in your home. This is a separate.
yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. I think maybe keep your face. You stand out. On the other hand, I would be interested in seeing if you listed under a corporate host. I'd be interested in seeing if people were willing to pay more. You
Yeah.
know,
Do you know my
there?
second guest was I don't know what she was because I was just going off her picture, but she sent me a private message to say that she would have never felt comfortable booking in that town if my face had not been on there, and how happy she was to rent from a person of color. It made her feel more comfortable going to this place. So I think I keep it in the back of my mind.
I forgot that you said that. Okay, cancel everything I said about the corporate name. That does make a lot of sense because I would
Yeah.
look at that same thing. I look for hosts who have, even if like in Mexico, right, the host is not going to be a black person, but have they had black reviews at least, right? Do they at least have reviews from other black people? So that probably does make a big difference in people's comfort level if you're talking about a small town in Illinois somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and I get a lot of black guests, so I think it's because I'm black, so they see that and they feel more comfortable booking it.
Wonderful. Okay, thanks for that super chat. I still don't know if you're Gillian or Jillian, so I'm gonna say both. Thank you for that, and also roll up here. Thank you for that super chat, Daisy Lee. I'm sorry, you have to tell me. I'm gonna say both until you tell me. All right, Monique is in Amsterdam, and she says she keeps seeing these €1 homes, and
Oh my God.
now she's investigating. You see those too, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought
Yeah.
about that?
Oh my gosh, I think about it every night when I go to sleep.
Well, let's make a black inkwell also in Italy. Can we find a lake in Italy? Monique, you're in charge. Monique is in charge of figure out what is going to be the next inkwell in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then Annabella, if flying wasn't available to you for some reason, wouldn't the property help you financially? Yeah. Right. It's money.
Yeah. It is money. I mean, right now, right now I haven't been working. So I have been living off of, like, I wasn't touching any of the money from Airbnb, and I would say, like, so
Yeah.
We're talking about money. So I would say so far in less than a year, it's brought in like 30,000. So once I get the other house up and running, and if I can bring that 30,000 also within a year, like I could work a lot less, but
Yeah. Yes.
I do like my job.
Yeah, because it takes you all over the world. Okay, can we? So, Professor LCH says she agrees that African American faces matter for her when she's traveling and when she's booking places. Yes, so I agree with that. Can we talk for a second about air? I keep saying air flight attendant. Can we talk about the flight attendant life for a person who thinks that that is a way to travel and see the world? Would you recommend it for people or?
Oh, for sure. I'm so grateful that I stumbled on it years ago. Like, um, now, could I go back in time? I would work for a different company. But so Stephanie and I met each other in Vietnam,
Yeah.
where I was traveling just on my flight benefits, Like, I don't necessarily, for work, I don't get to do that stuff, but the travel is so cheap outside of work for flight attendants that it's a killer way. Plus, I have like 18 days off a month. But to be fair, I've been doing it a long time. Like it's not like that when you start, but I have a lot of time off work.
Yes. So the actual flight attendant travel is not travel fun. Look at me, I'm in Paris. It is, I am asleep and then I get back on, right? You don't get to, for the most part, you're not enjoying the place during your work time.
So so that's America. But if you live like in Europe, there is completely different. Like they'll get like 4 days someplace. We don't get that here in the US. So
Okay. Okay. So who you work for matters and where you work matters. Okay, because when people say it to me, I'm always like, child, be a baggage handler. Seriously. You're gonna get flight benefits.
Yep. Same flight benefits.
You get flight benefits and you don't have to be exhausted.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm glad you cleared that up too. Okay, because I always thought that everyone had the same experience as a flight attendant, that you don't get to have fun. You just land and go to bed and then get back on the plane. Okay, so that's good. And then after you said that you need to work until 2025. After that, will you be able to keep your flight benefits?
I can actually retire now with my flight benefits. But I think starting in 2025, I would like to actually still keep my job, but I would just commute and work 5 days a month. So I was thinking work 5 days at the beginning of the month, 5 days at the end of the next month, have the rest of the time off. Just because, my family's all here. So I know I'd want to come home and see my family anyway. And I do like my job and I could see my friends and do all that stuff. So
I house that. I don't. You're back. Okay, I think I lost you for a split second, but you're moving again. I house sat for a pilot in Mexico who did that from Air Canada, right? So his home was outside of Guadalajara, Mexico. He flew Air Canada, but he only needed to fly so many days a month, and he just did exactly what you're talking about. Chose his flights or whatever based on the end of this month and the beginning of next month, and then he didn't have to come back for another however many weeks, 6 weeks or whatever, to Canada. Yeah, so who knew? And I think nurses have that ability sometimes as well. Some like per diem nurses, so there are some of us who can live abroad and still work in the U.S. or still work in your original country.
Yeah, that's my goal.
Yeah. Yoga Bliss Dan says she just saw the Vietnam pic on Instagram. Why didn't I think ahead? So I have a picture of the day that we met. We were in Hoi An, Vietnam, and Adrian just DM'd me like, "Hi, you're black, I'm black. Do you want to have a play date?" Which is one of the wonders of being a black woman traveler. I'm telling you, being a black woman abroad, even it's especially solo because it's just easier to reach out to people solo. But being a black woman abroad is just an amazing way to meet friends. If you feel like, you know what, I need some new friends in my life, leave the country. Leave the country.
That is so true.
Leave the country and just walk out of the house. Black women will come and pull you in to their circle. or post on Instagram, and Black women will invite you out on play dates. So we went to the beach. Adrian traveled with Nichelle, the Black Barbie. Do you still have her?
Yes, I still have her. She hasn't been anywhere lately because she's very dirty.
Yeah. Oh, Adrian traveled with a Black Barbie, and she got put her in the sand and did a little photo shoot for her. Was down, and I have. Oh, why didn't I prepare ahead? Yes. So if you go to Adrian's Instagram, you will see that I put her link on in here. You'll see it on mine as well, but you're gonna have to do more scrolling. Adrian is even less interested in posting on Instagram than I am. So there's less scrolling involved if you go to her Insta. Yeah, so that's how we met. Had to be 2016, early 2016 when I was in Vietnam, and then we met
Yeah,
up once again in Philadelphia,
yeah. When I had a
maybe
layover.
a couple years ago after I
Yeah,
had come
when you were
back from
just
South
starting
Africa.
house sitting.
hmm That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. I had just
yeah.
come back from South Africa.
Funny, I sent
I
a
had a trunk full
picture.
of paintings from South Africa.
Yeah, I have one in my room, and someone was like, "I like that painting." I'm like, "It's from South Africa."
That's right. Yes. So if you're a Black woman who is concerned about solo travel and being lonely, you're not going to be lonely, right? It's just an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. It's so easy to make new friends as a Black woman when you leave the country because you're out of your routines and you're in someplace new and you stand out. Like standing out.
You stand out. That's the
Mhm.
thing. Yeah.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Jillian, thank you for clearing that up. Okay, now I'm with you. All right. Cutie Pie just came back from Puerto Rico and made new friends. I'm going to Phoenix to visit my new friends. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, it works. Okay. So if anybody here is nervous and like solo travel is not going to work for me, it very well might. You may not have to be solo very long. Okay. Okay. And then lots of votes for the Inkwell in Italy. Okay. So
I say we do it.
so let us know. I think that you and Monique are going to be our scouts. Y'all are in charge of scouting out locations. All right. Okay, same question. You cutie pie asked that same question. Do you believe Airbnb investments are lucrative enough to leave your job? She just wants to keep the job. She likes it. I know it's crazy, but she likes the job. All right.
I do like it, but I do think you could make enough money to not work, depending on where you move to. Like, I want to move someplace with a lower cost of living,
hmm
and obviously, I still have this condo in Chicago that I could get a lot of money to rent out. So
Uh-huh.
I think between them, I could make more than enough.
All right. So we've got a question. Jacqueline says she's not on Instagram. How can she find your Airbnb rental? So is it okay if I link to your rental in the description of this video?
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'm sorry, Jacqueline. I feel like I was super prepared today, and every time y'all come with questions, I'm like, that is such a great idea. So thank you for asking that, Jacqueline. I'm going to link to Adrian's Airbnb in the description. All right. If you're here in the way future, there might be two. Okay. There might be two Airbnbs
Way
listed.
future.
When do you think? I'm sorry if I already asked you this. When do you think the second one will be ready to go?
Girl, I thought it was going to be ready for June 1st, but probably by July.
Okay. That's not long. I know because it's already June. Okay, good. All right. Okay. Okay, yes, I can repost Adrian's Instagram. I see you, Leslie. I think I can just do that. All right, there's her Instagram. Okay, so normally when people ask a question about taxes, I just say I don't know. Okay, so you're welcome to say that. Okay, but Ms. Freeman says, how does Illinois treat Airbnb income for taxes?
So this was something I just had to discover, and it's, if there was no other benefit, the tax benefits are crazy, because it's one of the things that, so you can write off all the expenses. And since it's new, I had so many expenses, and I was so worried about owing, because Airbnb doesn't take out taxes, and
Right.
you have to do it yourself. So I was like, I'm going to owe so much money. but I'm getting back more money than I've ever got back just from all of the uh, expenses you get to expense. Every time I drive down there, all the food I eat when I'm down there, all the work that I do on it, what I pay the cleaner, everything can be expensed. So it's great for taxes.
Here's what I am learning as a business person, okay? And by business person, I mean I just got my federal EIN this week, okay? I'm really behind. But here's what I'm learning: the tax structure is set up to benefit the owners, not the workers, okay? So if you can get yourself in that owner bucket, the tax structure is set up to benefit you, to improve your standing financially year after year after year. So if
Yeah.
you, yeah, so as the Airbnb owner, Adrian is set up. That's all the little bit I know about taxes, set up to benefit her. Yes, yeah, that the business owner is winning. This is
Yeah.
what I spent my week trying to figure out. The business owner is winning when it comes to tax situations.
Yeah. I was surprised
Mhm.
and happy.
Yes, yes. Do you expect winter bookings to continue on this pace?
So the house that I have now, I am not going to rent out January and February anymore because I can't. The house is built on dirt. It doesn't have like a basement.
Mhm.
So the pipes froze twice. It's
Okay.
not really worth it. Yes, I had bookings,
Mhm.
but it was too stressful for me. So I think for those 2 months I won't. But surprisingly, like, so November was one of my most profitable months because apparently it's deer hunting season
Uh,
out there. So I had hunters rented the entire month, just one all-out booking, and so that was profitable. And people like little winter cabin getaways. I don't know why I wouldn't do it, but it is I won't say it's equally booked, but over $2,000 in bookings in the winter months still, which is very surprising to me. But I didn't notice much of a drop off.
yeah, I can believe that. There are people just like I'm team boycott winter. There are team, pro winter people out there. So I can believe that. Yeah. Who wouldn't want a beautiful lake view in the wintertime with a little snow? Not me.
Me
but
either.
but but
Me
somebody.
either.
Somebody.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
must. I find it strange, but they do it.
The hunters, were you forewarned that the hunters were hunters, and did you have to do anything particularly like special to keep? I guess they know how to clean things up, but
Yeah, the wife actually booked it and said that her husband and his friends were doing a hunting trip. And she booked it well in advance because probably I got 4 or 5 private messages afterwards from other hunters wanting to see by chance if it was available. And I'm like, no, apparently if you're a hunter, you better get
start early.
um, and they were no problems at all. I mean, they stayed for 3.5 weeks or something, and they left it clean.
Good.
You know,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I guess hunters know how to clean up after themselves. They're not, just because they're hunters
Yeah.
doesn't mean they're children. Okay. All right, Annabella, thank you so much for that super chat. All right. Yeah. C. Robert says they call them tax shelters. Yeah. It's really like you can see, right, in my 1 week of research, you can see that the tax system is set up to benefit the business owner. Once you decide to delegate yourself as a business owner, the tax system is set to benefit you and protect your money and all of that. Yeah. All right. So Amelia wants specifics on putting her rental on Airbnb. So we started this and then I got carried away with some other stuff. But you said that you took your own photos. You didn't have to get a professional photographer in there.
No.
So let's talk about that listing process.
So Airbnb makes it super simple. It guides you through every step. So it'll say, tell us a little bit about your property. And it's just, like your eye-catching things. And then it guides you through like what amenities are there? What is this? What is that? Like there's no guesswork in it. And it'll say like um, when you do pictures, it'll say, "Is this the bedroom?" And you can hit bedroom. Like, it's very straightforward. But they do say, like, when you're, instead of just saying this is the bedroom, you should say, like, enjoy a great night's sleep on this comfy queen bed. You know, things like that. Like, don't just tell people what it is. Like, show them what it is. Um, so it guides you through the whole thing. And Airbnb is simple in that you don't have to do anything else. They will send you the money and then they'll tell you what they took from it,
Okay.
which for the most part isn't. So for Airbnb, like, you know, when you're renting it, you see all those extra fees.
Mhm.
You don't really see those as a host. You just see what they took. So, like, I have kind of a high cleaning fee, I think, because it's hard to clean a lake house because there's so much sand and stuff. Um, and also, I really need my cleaning person because I'm not going down there to clean. But they only take one little fee, like a host fee, which is different from, like, VRBO has a lot more fees, and I think it's harder. And the people that I know that have Airbnbs do both, but I didn't do it because then you have to really, like, coordinate your schedule to make sure you don't do double bookings. And I haven't needed it, so I haven't looked into it because it doesn't seem worth it to me. But I thought Airbnb was super simple. It probably took like 10 minutes to get the whole thing set up.
Okay. All right. But Amelia, if you weren't here in the beginning, you need to make sure that your city, your homeowners association, your city council, everyone, you need to find out what their rules are, particularly for Airbnb. Yeah, because Adrian is out in an unincorporated place. So there are no rules. She's in the wild, wild west.
It's a
But,
free for all.
but you need to find out what your particular area's rules are, not just the state, but the city and your, like, if there's a homeowners association and, a lot of everybody who has a say over your house, you need to find out what their rules are for Airbnbs because they vary greatly. All right, good. Okay. All right, okay, so we're back to the black ink. Well, yes, so I saw you need to have praises. You need a valid residence permit to buy the €1 houses, but it's open to EU. Yeah. So Monique has that, so we got no problem. Monique's in charge. Monique lives in the Netherlands, so she's in charge. Okay.
Oh, yeah, she's in charge.
Hmm. You both are the scouters. I think you
No.
you're in charge of scouting out the next town for us. Let us know where we're going. Let us know. Okay, friends, what are your other questions? So I think that your questions have been better than mine. So ask, what are your other questions? If that's it, then let me know if that's it. So we talked about how she got how Adrian got her property. She just talked about she just mentioned how she chose Airbnb versus VRBO. Basically, she was already on Airbnb and she's booked, so she doesn't need to worry with VRBO. A lot of Airbnb hosts do both. But like she said, you do have to keep two calendars and you need to make sure that you're not double booked. I had that happen to me, and it was as a renter, as an Airbnb renter, and it was super annoying. I booked the place and then they're like, oh, I'm sorry, this place is already booked. But here are some other dates. That's how I knew that they weren't just trying to get out of letting me rent it. They legitimately did sound like they were booked. As the host, do you get paid when I pay or do you get paid after I leave?
I get paid the day after you check in. So 24 hours after your check-in, it's when Airbnb releases the funds to me.
All right, great. Great. Jessica Lois Turner probably maybe wasn't here in the very beginning, so I'm just going to repeat Jessica's question. Did you have any nightmare renters, bad reviews, damage? No. Since July of 2020?
Yeah, you know what? I had a couple of reviews back to back that I did not, they weren't bad,
Okay.
but they were 4-star instead of 5-star. And they really upset me. That, it is what it is. But no, no nightmare renters, no excessive damage, no, nothing.
Did you feel like the 4-star reviews affected your listing in any way?
Well, I guess not. No.
Okay. No, they're just asking, but no.
No,
Like
I'm
the
trying to think. Like, I
92%.
was so upset by it. Like, what in the heck is a 4? but one of them, she said my pictures weren't accurate. And I think that really bothered me because I was like, I took those pictures with my phone. What do you mean they're not accurate? They're not like, I don't know. I don't know.
Photoshopped.
Yeah.
Did you reply to her or you just left it?
I just left it. I thought about going. I was like, well, all this is going to do is like do a back and forth. And what's the benefit of it really? Well, like, what am I hoping to get from approaching her about my pictures? Like, just let it go.
That's right. All right. Because you offer water sports equipment, does that affect your insurance? See, Robertson
Not
wants
that
to
I
know.
know of.
Okay. It's already a lake house, so you already have insurance
Yeah.
for water. I don't know.
And I do have a disclaimer on there, like, you know, this is a water property. Like, it's probably not suitable for tiny kids. Like, there's steep stairs that go down to the water. The water level does vary, so sometimes it's super deep. Like, I do worry about that aspect, but so far I haven't had anyone like get injured. But I did have the people next door. So I was hanging out with Airbnb renters there, and their dog cut his paw on glass at the beach and had to go to the emergency vet. And I was wondering like how the Airbnb person had to cover that. I don't allow pets, partly for that reason, but I do think about that. Like, what if something does happen? I don't know. I haven't.
But as a host, hosts have insurance that's not regular homeowners insurance. They have insurance that to protect the guests specifically for that purpose. Yeah. All right. So Diamond Forbes, we may not be able to answer you, Diamond. She says, what's the difference between Airbnb and VRBO? So they're both rental platforms. As a guest, to me, the difference seems to be VRBOs tend to have long stays only. I don't see a lot of, or maybe I'm just not looking right. And they also tend to have entire stay listings, but not like if you want a room in a house listings. That seems to not be a VRBO thing. Those seem to be the main differences to me.
That's what I would think.
Yeah, because I can't get over the 92% occupancy rate. I can't because Adrian's booked. She's like, whatever. I don't know. I don't know her. But that's what I know as a guest, as a person who has looked for things on VRBO. The main difference to me is that their entire stays, whereas Airbnb, you can get a room in a place in some, depends on what the host is offering. And they seem to be longer term stays. All right. This is a good question, Susan, and I may have an extra resource for you. How do you find out if your area of town is profitable for an Airbnb? There's a website called AirDNA. I think it's .com. I don't know for sure. So AirDNA, which will tell you about other rentals in your area and what their percent occupancy rate is. So that might help you. I think that for Airbnb, if you want to be in a place, well, you need to be able to market your place for the area, right? So if you're in a vacation destination, it needs to look like a vacation spot, right? If you're in a place where it's going to be workers from the local hospital, right? If you're near a hospital, let's say, and you're looking to get renters who are doctors and nurses who are there per diem or whatever they do, then it needs to look like it's for this type of people. But anyway, AirDNA is a resource that I've heard of that does help you see what other Airbnbs in your area are doing, like what kind of listing occupancy rate they're getting and what they're charging. And I don't know if it'll tell you who your renters are, but like, are these professionals or are these vacationers or are these students or what? But it will give you some info on your area. How did you, so Adrian, when you decided on this house on this lake, did you had you done any pre-work or was it just intuition that told you this is the one?
It was just literally just driving by, saw the sign, didn't even know that there was a lake originally there. Saw the sign, could not get over the price of it. And so I had, like I said, I was in Spain. I had my then boyfriend go look at it. And I'm like, tell me if you think that if this is a good investment. He was like, I think it's a good investment. And I just put in an offer and just crossed my fingers that it would work out. But I felt that it would. Like, if, I mean, who doesn't like a lake house? And um, I don't know. I figured with that price, if it didn't work out, I could just sell
Yes.
it.
Yes. That's right. What are you losing? That's right. Okay. All right. So as soon as I say we're done, I'm going to have like 15 more questions. But I feel like if you have a question, it's time to get it in, because I think we've covered this. I think that you now have the information on how to get your place on Airbnb, how to decide whether or not you want to do Airbnb, right? Adrian's talked about some of her concerns. I still want to talk to some women who have done the long-term renter thing, and some women who have sold, right? Who have decided, I want to take a sabbatical, or I want to move abroad, and I'm going to sell my property. And here's how I made that decision. Please email me, Stephanie@vicarious.com. I want to talk to you guys about this, because every person will come to a different answer, different solution. I type this out 40 times a day and I can't get it. Yeah. So I still want to talk to someone who's done one of these other things. Who, if you've already done it, not if you're planning to do it, right? So if you've already rented long term, or if you've already sold, I'd love to talk about why. How you made that particular decision. So Adrian just told us that she's considering, when she moves abroad, considering not Airbnb-ing anymore. But keep in mind that you can, because there are property managers, just like there's a property manager for long-term rentals, there are Airbnb property managers who will handle the short-term rental process. They exist. All right. I have a concern regarding, okay. I put the wrong thing back up. Okay, so multifaceted Shay says she's concerned about damaged or missing items. Because this was not a home that you lived in, I would assume that you didn't have things in that home that you were just afraid of, people messing up.
Right. Um, Things definitely do get broken. And I definitely have like this blanket I have here. I had a bunch of them there. They're from Mexico. They're $5.
Yes, yes. I just left one there. I couldn't fit it in my suitcase.
I have a bunch of them, but the ones that I had at the house did go missing. But I'm like, you know what? It was 4 of them. They were $5 each. Just $20. It's really not, like, that's the kind of stuff you just factor into. I've never had anything big missing. And when people have broken things, for the most part, they've left money for me to replace it. So
Okay.
people are pretty good about stuff.
Okay. Good. All right. All right. So Jacqueline, Adrian lives in Chicago. Her house is on a lake 3.5 hours outside of Chicago, in an unincorporated town, the next Inkwell. And Monique, how much work had to be done on the house? A lot. So I believe, Adrian, you downplayed this. I think when you were like, yeah, so I fixed it up and then I put it on Airbnb, but a lot. Okay. So we're talking about Adrian got up on the roof, took off the old roof with her neighbor, put on a new roof. A lot of work.
Yeah,
But
new floors, new windows, new bathroom. It was a lot of work. I'm not going to say it wasn't.
do you think you doubled the $30,000 initial investment? So are we talking now $60K invested into this house?
I would say yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's what it sounded like. Okay. Yeah. That's about what it sounded like. These $1 Italy houses are going to need more, right? Have you seen them? You've seen them. Yeah. They're like,
Especially trying to find the resources to fix it up when you're in Italy. Like, here, we just go to Home Depot, and these are in the middle of nowhere, Italy.
uh-huh. Yeah. That's going to be something. That's a whole industry is going to have to spring up to help support this work. Because I don't know that an Italian construction company is going to want to deal with us, right? I'm not doing that. Jessica, good question. Jessica Lois Turner. So, how many hours per week are you spending managing these properties in terms of dealing with the customers and the bookings and stuff?
20 minutes. I'm serious. Yeah, I already have all of my like you pre-make your messages. So when someone books, it I have an automatic reply to tell them the stuff, and then one day before they come, another automatic reply that gives them,
Yes.
it's a keyless entry. My cleaning lady already has the schedule, so she just messages me when it's done cleaning, so I know that it's done,
Okay.
and I don't do anything else with it.
So $3,000 per month for 1 hour per month.
Okay, at least once a month I go down there and do little stuff. So I would say 6 hours a month, because I probably spend at least 5 hours when I go down there, like just with little stuff, maybe touch up paint or fixing stuff in the yard, or but not I'm not the point now where I don't personally put much time into it.
All right. Wonderful. We love that. Okay. So we're talking $500 an hour in case that was your question. In case that was what you were working up to. All right.
When
Okay.
you say it like that.
My property makes me $500 an hour. All right. Okay. All right, friends. I'm calling it. I'm saying that we've covered this topic from A to Z. I'm saying that you now know whether or not you want to make this decision, and you now know how to make this decision, and you know why not to, right? Why to do it, why not to do it. I'm surprised at how many people you're saying that you're keeping in touch with. That's something that I wouldn't have counted in the list of pros, right? Just like making new friends.
Yeah.
um, I'm not surprised with the now that once I learned that it was a lake house. Adrian, she's holding out things. So once I learned that it was a lake house, I'm not surprised with how little effort it's taking you to manage the property once you get it up and running. I'm not surprised with that, especially when you don't do your own cleaning. Yeah. So let's see. I'm stalling to give y'all a chance to ask a question. If and we right, I think she would answer a flight attendant question as well. Let's see. I may have missed my question regarding renting my condo while I travel. What's your question, Shay? So yes, you can rent your condo out while you travel. If you're going to be gone for a block of time, if you want to put it on Airbnb, or if you want to rent it out the traditional way. The difference is money. Airbnb, short-term rentals, you can charge more per day, right, or per month. But the difference is also that you're going to need to be more, you're going to either be hands-on, or you're going to have to find someone to be more hands-on to deal with your listings. Okay, so is that what your question was? I see you saying you asked a question, but I don't see the original question. With Airbnbs, there's no deposit. So with Airbnbs, when you book as the guest, when I book an Airbnb, I pay for my Airbnb. Okay. And then Adrian said 24 hours after I check in, she gets paid. So there's no deposit. You just pay outright the full amount. Or let's see. So I have booked Airbnbs for more than a month, and I pay, they charge me for the first month, and then they charge me the next few days later. But no, it's not a deposit. Okay, so if that wasn't all my personal items. Oh, we did answer that. She doesn't have personal items because it's not her property. I mean, it's not her home. Well, like she just talked about the blankets and stuff. Adrian just talked about the blankets. So things have gone missing. Don't leave things for people that you are not okay with disappearing or being broken or stained or damaged, right? This is part of the
Yeah.
cost of doing business.
Yeah, like when you sheets, buy 5 sets of the sheets, because people start their period, people drink wine in bed, people do all sorts of stuff. Like you can't be overly concerned about that. Just make sure you have backups.
Right. That is part of the cost. Factor those things into the cost of doing business. I've stayed in Airbnbs where they had an entire closet locked. Where I
I have
assume it.
closet locked.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
where either it's their supplies or just personal stuff. Some of these, when we stayed at the beach, I'm pretty sure no one lived there, So I would assume that it was just supplies and stuff that they didn't want us to get to. But I've stayed in other Airbnbs where it was like a home as well, and they just had stuff locked. You cannot get into this closet, or you cannot get into this space.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah. So that's the answer. Yeah, we did answer your question, Shay. She'd already answered talking about the blankets and how people, things come up missing, and anything in there that is available and unlocked, you have to be prepared that it's going to be damaged, lost, stolen, broken, stained, something. Yeah. That's the cost. You put that into the cost. That is in the cost of renting this place. Okay. Okay, Cutie Pie. So we're going to jump off topic real quickly. Cutie Pie says she's working on her YouTube channel this week. Don't forget to email me a link to a video on your YouTube channel. I said that I would put together a playlist for everyone, all of us, all the Vicarians, and I didn't get not one video. So send me a link to your video so that I can put our playlist together. If you did send it, I'm sorry, I didn't get it. Email me, Stephanie@vicarious.com. Yes. Okay. Yeah. She said she was thinking about locking the closet. Yeah. I've stayed in plenty of Airbnbs that have that. Airbnb's house sits everywhere you go. Somebody's got something locked up. Okay. All right. Adrian, thank you so much. This was fun,
You,
right?
Stephanie. Yeah, it was.
Okay,
It
good.
was.
Yeah. All right. So let me let me link to Adrian's Instagram one more time. All right. So you can follow along on her um, Airbnb hosting adventures. If you have a specific question, you can ask her a specific question, but don't DM her something that should be a conversation. Okay. If you need to book some time with Adrian to talk about this, book some time with her, right? Pay her for her time. Okay. But if you just have a quick question about like, where is your Airbnb? Where is this lake house? What is the link? DM her, okay? And then if you're watching later today, then it'll be in the description. The link will be in the description. All right. Okay. One more. Let me jump back one more time. It's just a playlist. Everybody, all of the Vicarians. It's just a Vicarians playlist. Just send a video, your best video for new people. Just send a video to Stephanie@vicarious.com, subject line Vicarians playlist. I'm going to put together a playlist of all of us. Whatever your video, whatever your channel is about, whatever your best video is about. Okay. Yes, Viv, please just send it on. And I'll put that playlist together so that it'll be on my channel. Because when you have a YouTube channel, people come to your YouTube homepage and they poke around and see what else is going on. So I have some playlists already listed, so I can add us as a playlist as well. Okay, Diamond Forbes, thanks a bunch, ladies. I love it here. I can't wait to be on the other side. I'm ready to start living. We're ready for you. Okay. All right. What I was saying though, you know how to contact Adrian. Contact her on her Instagram. If you have a quick question, ask her a quick question. But if you need to book some time with her, book some time with her. Ask her, do you have some time where we can chat? Do you have 20, 30 minutes? Okay. We compensate people for their time and for their expertise and for their knowledge. We just told what she can help you do if you want to start Airbnb in your place. What she can help you do is make a profit, right? She can help you turn a profit. If you need help with how do I turn my place, it's looking kind of drab and my listing doesn't look good. How do I perk this listing up? How do I make this appeal to an potential Airbnb renter? Holler at her, book some time with her. She's good at it. And she already told us she liked decorating and she liked design. Yeah. All right. Okay. I've said it 50 times. Okay, but that's it. All right. So Adrian, we appreciate you so much. Thank you. I hope I get to see you again sometime soon.
Thank you. I know. Well, you're going to be in Florida all summer. I'm in Florida all the time, sadly. So maybe
Okay, good. Yeah, I'll be in Tampa. Holler at me. We'll eat whatever the Tampa food is.
All right.
And bring Michelle. Clean her up. Bring her. Yes.
Her dress needs wash. She's filthy.
Bring her. Bring her. I miss her. friends. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.